the Madman! Welcome to another edition of Custom Card Reviews. Let's begin with a year's passing. This card kind of celebrates mint conditions, contributions to the custom Hearthstone subreddit. Very overpowered though. Design 4 stars, balance 1 star. Quest, play 30 unique cards, reward Minte, Year's End. Minte, Year's End is a 5-mana 20/20 dragon. With Rush, whenever you play a card, shuffle a copy of this into your deck. So obviously it was going to be hard to balance any card that's 20/20, and this is not enough hoops to jump through. I actually think that if you even took out the whenever you play a card, shuffle a copy of this into your deck, this card might still be too powerful. I think Galakrond Roke, especially Highlander Galakrond Roke, plays 30 unique cards pretty typically in a game right now. So yes, you have to give up your 1 mana play, but the ability to just end the game after you've played 30 unique cards, that seems like not enough of a hurdle to jump through. Chicken Knife. This is a cute little warrior weapon. 1 mana, 1/1. Overkill, gain 5 attack, should read this weapon gets +5 attack. Design, 5 stars, balance 5 stars. I like it, really cool. The designer of the card actually made the art for the weapon as well. A lot more dangerous than Angry Chicken because it's much harder to destroy a weapon than it is to destroy a 1/1 on the board. The idea would be you play the Chicken Knife, you upgrade it, maybe you manage to kill something, it would have to have 1 health on the opponent's side, and then it would become a 7/1 Chicken Knife, and then of course you would want to upgrade it more. It's a lot of effort to go through, and it does require your opponent have a low health minion in order to even do anything. But yeah, really cool card. Is Shauna the Absolute? Priest 5 mana, 3/5 legendary. Destroy any minion that receives excess healing. Design 4 stars, balance 4 stars. I'm a little bit uncertain about the balance. The card even might actually be balanced right now, but that does go as far as to say something about the state of Priest. It's in a weird weak spot. This card basically turns your hero power into kind of walk the plank as Priest, and it does combo with any healing spells as well. It is a full board clear, assuming that everything doesn't have 4 or more damage on it. All in all, I think that this card is a bit too disruptive and powerful at the mana cost. If they don't have an answer to this, they get locked out of the game. So that's bad design. In fact, when I think about it, let's move the design down to 3 stars. The overall idea is that this card, in order to be printed, needs to be a higher mana cost. Running Start. It's a warrior 1 mana spell. Discover a minion. It has Rush this turn. Design 5 stars, balance 5 stars. I like the card. It's very similar to A Light in the Darkness from Paladin, which didn't see any play because it was too expensive. So if you knock off 1 mana on it and replace the +1/+1 with Rush, I think that's fairly comparable. Highly incentivized to play it on the turn that you need a Rush card, and a little bit of skill having to choose whether or not to play the minion that you discover. I think the idea is really cool, that it's a card that you want to play the turn that you play this card. Interrogate, 2 mana rogue spell. Each time an enemy is attacked this turn, add a secret from another class to your hand. Design 5 stars, balance 3 stars. I really like the idea of the card. Rogues definitely are the ones that want to interrogate the most. It's a nice short name with a lot of flavor to it, and you're basically getting their secrets, so the flavor is awesome. Balance just isn't quite there because I think it's too good. If you simply have a minion on the board and you have your basic hero power equipped, it is 2 mana, add 2 secrets from other classes to your hand. They're a little bit less good than the average card perhaps, but they don't suck that much. So I'm saying it probably should be 3 mana. That's my suggested balance change. Reaver. It's a warrior 3 mana 2/2 weapon with battle cry, draw a fatigue card. This gains attack equal to the damage taken from it. I actually think that it's a really interesting idea, so it pains me to give the design a 2 star and the balance a 4 star. On the baseline, it is simply a fire war axe if you don't do anything with fatigue because you just take 1 damage and then it's a 3 mana 3/2. But what you're trying to do is you're trying to play this near the end when you are fatiguing, and then you draw maybe the 5 fatigue card, you take 5 damage, and then it's a 3 mana 7/2. The problem is, I think this is a really narrow application. Control decks probably do not want to draw fatigue cards at the end. Aggro decks will never hit fatigue, so this will just be a bad Fire War Axe. While it's interesting text, I don't believe that there is ever going to be enough support for such a card. One Last Heist. The rogue spell, if your deck is empty, fill your hand with spells from other classes. They cost 3 less. Design, 3 stars, balance, 5 stars. If it's One Last Heist, it should be a legendary. Also, this is a big legendary effect, so this should probably have been a legendary spell. Secondly, little bit uninspired given that it's the Nomi effect. But I think that this is surprisingly balanced. It may look insane to pay 3 mana to potentially add 10 cards in your hand and get a discount of 30 total mana across all of it, but if you have an empty hand and an empty deck, you probably aren't going to win despite the One Last Heist thing. It's a last desperate effort thing, and it's not proactive, unlike Nomi. Like, Nomi decks could try to draw their deck really fast and then play their big burst tempo of 7/6/6s, but One Last Heist may provide you a big swing, but won't necessarily get you on the board. It's really random, so I think it could work. It might even work while Nomi is in the meta, because Nomi isn't really played right now. I would feel really cautious about printing this while Nomi was in the meta though, but it would be fine perhaps to print it like on a 3rd expansion after Nomi is about to rotate out. And I think it would be interesting to have an overlap of Nomi and One Last Heist for a little bit. Cheers! Warrior's spell, 2 mana, draw 2 cards, give your opponent a cheers spell. I was very close to making this the trump card of the week. Design 5 stars, balance 5 stars. But I think something is debatably better. So really cool card. It's a 2 mana draw 2 with a small drawback. Compared to Research Project, this is better because you draw 2 cards and you only give them a card drawing card that draws 2 cards instead of just drawing them 2 cards for free. But is it fine for a card to be better than Research Project? Yeah, I think so. It's also really cool. You play cheers, they get the cheers. If they want to, they can play cheers, and then you get the cheers. And then if you want to, you can play the cheers. It's a little bit of a skill testing element because you have to decide if it's the right game to play a cheers, because maybe you're going to give your opponent the fuel they need to win the game or to make a big comeback. Usually this would be played in more aggro/tempo decks because the control decks won't have the time perhaps to play their cheers. And if they play cheers, you get even more fuel. Morgau, Foul Merchant. 3 mana 3/4 neutral legendary. After you discover a minion, summon it and return this to your hand. How did this make it past the balance checkers? Design 2 stars, balance 1 star. Here's a quick example of why this is OP. You play this on turn 4 as rogue, and then you play Dragon's Horde. Discover a huge legendary card. Maybe it costs 8 mana. And so for 4 mana, you cheated out an 8 mana card. This works with a lot of the 1 mana cards that discover a card. So I was thinking, can such an effect even work? Like, can this text be printed on anything? And I figured, in order for the text to be on a thing, you would have to make it cost like 6 or 7 mana, so that when you comboed with a 1 mana discover card, at least you didn't cheat too much mana out. And that would be really random as well, because Discovered will often offer you big stuff, especially when you're discovering dragons or something, but not always. So sometimes you just get destroyed. So perhaps too random. This card, certainly way too cheap. It probably should cost 6 or 7. And now onto the trump card. It's Riot Police. 3 mana, 3/4, neutral. At the end of your turn, give your minions that could attack this turn but didn't, +1/+1. Love it. Design 5 stars, balance 5 stars. It's pretty suitable for Riot Police because the Riot Police's goal is to just stand still and not stir anything up and to keep the peace. So if you don't attack, if you could, then you get +1/+1. It's the common take of a minor bonus on a 3 mana 3/4. Of course, the trade-off is you don't use them to attack. But you can attack still if you want, it's just you have the option. So It's a lot of skill testing. Sometimes it's going to be wrong to sit back and not attack and take the +1/+1. And sometimes it'll be wrong to attack. Little bit of a danger of a snowball effect where if you play a 1-drop and a 2-drop and then you play the Riot Police, maybe everything grows too fast, but it's probably fine. I couldn't really think of a deck that would run Riot Police in the deck. It would be probably a zoo type deck, minion-centric board control, but I think this just might be okay enough to slip in. And if this is too overpowered, maybe you tune it down by making it a 4-mana 4/5 with this effect. I think a 4-mana 4/5 with a minor benefit is also fine in the meta. And that's it for another edition of Trump Reviews Custom Cards. Look forward to the next one.